welcome again to this video about my guitar making. This one is about the Rosette. So it was a pretty interesting process making the Rosette. To be honest, this is the part that I considered skipping at first because it looked a bit challenging to me to be able to inlay the Rosette on the boards, but after a few tries, this is the first one that I did. This is just a test one in a piece of standard spruce, so it turned out pretty good, as you can see. So it gave me some confidence to do the actual Rosette, and here are my finished products. So this is the first one that I did, and this here is the second one. I really like this one being a little more contrasting. I think overall, I think this second guitar will actually look a little better in the long run, but anyway, both are good. So the process that I use, like you saw, is I use this little jig right here. It's pretty basic jig that I found online, and I decided to make one myself because buying this kind of stuff is really expensive, because those are specialty gear that you need to pay a high price for it. But it's not that complicated. This is just a piece of plywood with this little metal dowel in the middle. I use this. I didn't go out and buy any expensive circle cutting jig either, because you can buy this stuff on the luthier specialty stores, and they cost you a lot of money. So this is just standard Dremel circle cutting jig, really cheap. I think it was like 15 bucks or something like that, but it had a very design flaw in it when I first got it, because the thing here was just a pin at first, like a nail sticking up on the back, and you just punch the nail in the wood you were about to cut and turn around. It did work, but it wasn't very accurate because it would just move a little bit and things like that. So I replaced the nail with a little tubular piece here, in which I can fit this 3/16 of an inch pin. Just like that, and it allows it to spin freely. There's no slop in it. It just cuts really clean, and it just it took me a little while to just make this little modification in the end. Like you've seen, and like I can show you here, you just put the pin, tighten this thing, and it won't move from there. It won't budge, and you can rotate that pretty accurately. So this was the little modification that I made to this really cheap Dremel circle cutter. So you don't have to go out and buy any expensive tool. You can go and make one for yourself with some cheap stuff. And this is just a piece of plywood with circle printed in it, and some thread inserts where you can thread the actual clamping part of the jig. I cut this in acrylic using my little CNC machine, but because I wanted to be able to see the wood, but I'm pretty sure you could make that out of wood too, and it would work pretty well. So how it works, like you've seen, is that those are the offcuts of my Rosette, and those are, like you can see, little parts glued together. So the first thing was I did cut this on my CNC too. Same thing here, you can definitely use just a piece of wood for that, because being able to see through is handy, but not really necessary. Where you put your piece of wood under it, being able to see through allowed me to align maybe the grain or something like that, but it really isn't required. It could have been a piece of wood. So it allows you to just put that over the piece of wood and cut with a saw on each side. So I use this Japanese type saw here. This is a pretty cheap one, by the way. You don't have again to go out and buy any super expensive saw for that. And so it gave me some triangles parts like that, some pie charts if you want. And I use this thing is cut at 30 degrees, so you don't have to measure each one. If you cut on each side, you get 30 degrees. So again, you just once harder all your pieces are cut, so those are 30 degrees, so I have to make 12 of those to make a complete circle. The printed circles, concentric circle on the jig just help me to position the pieces at the right place so that the 12th one will make a complete circle. And the ingenuity behind this jig is that you are able, using the screws screwed in the little threaded inserts, to clamp the pieces in the middle. So it now allows you to put the circle cutter jig in here and just put the Dremel in it like you've seen in the video earlier, and be able to cut the pieces while they are clamped by the middle. So you can just cut the outside and it works pretty good. So one other thing that I found really useful is having a cordless Dremel tool, because you don't have to worry about the cord just tangling around and everything. So this is what I used. It worked pretty well. As you can see, I can maybe show you using a little mineral spirits what the rosettes will actually look like once all finished. So this is really all far but finished, but mineral spirits just allows you to maybe make the grain pop a little bit and look somehow like what it will look when it will be all finished. So I think this one, like I said, will be beautiful. This other one here looks really good too, just maybe a little less contrasting wood, but I'm really happy with that too. So here it is with the mineral spirits on it. So that's it for now. Really happy again about how it turned out. The part that I used, where you've seen me put some wood dust in the little holes that appear regardless of how you try to not do that. There is always a few holes here and there. On this one I used the actual rosette wood, dust of the actual rosette wood to fill the holes, but it didn't change a lot because once you put glue in this dust, wood dust, it always turns really dark. So it didn't really change anything using the exact same wood or not. On this one I use ebony wood for the dust, and like you can see, it's all dark anyway. So pretty happy about my rosette. This little jig here wasn't really complicated to make, but gave me really good result. Like you've seen, I tried it before, really important to do before actually screwing up with the actual wood that you use for the real build. So now my next step, I think, will be about, I have those sides here. I will be looking at this part here. This little seam here on the back is not really nice right now, and I knew it would be looking at that later, so I didn't really bother. But I will now concentrate on this part and make what they call an actual end wedge. So I will just cut a wedge piece here and replace it with probably wood of the same type, but on the other side, so it will look a lot nicer on both of my backs. So that's it for now, and stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to have a notification when I post a new video. So until then, have some fun and see you later.